just spent a good part of 3 hours wire wheeling everything. Also used a blue Scotch-Brite pad on the angle grinder to get into some other areas. I want to keep some of the original nostalgia of this vise, so I really didn't grind it and polish it all out. What I did is I took some of the really bad stuff out of it. Now, as a recap, we milled the anvil with a face mill, 1-inch face mill, and I try to blend the edge in here a little bit because it was just ground rough, real rough, and took down some really bad stuff, but left most of it intact. This has all been wire wheeled several times. The original paint must have been an epoxy type paint because it's really in the pores. I don't really need to take it down any further. I mean, it's like something like this was a real high spot. I just knocked it down. The bottom just wire wheeled. If you remember, we earlier we faced this, drilled new holes. The end cap, end piece, tail piece, just wire wheeled. I knocked it down with a Scotch-Brite pad. You know, blended in some of the real high stuff. The jaws, just wire wheeled them. They're in pretty good shape. So just did those up with the wire wheel. The screws, just a wire wheel. This washer retaining ring, this edge was really rough, real rough. So what I did is I just sanded it down flat all the way around. And then I hit it with the Scotch-Brite pad here. The back I pretty much left alone. It was fine and you're not even going to see it. So I'm thinking about maybe polishing this out. And then the lead screw, it's pretty rough. You can see here, it's pretty rough, but I wire wheeled it, Scotch-Brite pad, and I'll probably just hit it on the buffer. I'm going to leave this bare metal and just maybe, you know, butcher wax or something on it, or keep a good coat of oil on it. But the lead screw is in great condition. Just cleaned up the end a little bit. Perfect condition there. The jaw, great shape. It was in really great shape. All I did was hit it with the Scotch-Brite pad right here. I think I might want to do it a little bit more. I think I can get it to look a little better. But I left all the nicks and hacksaw cuts in it. Scotch-Brite the sides here. All 4 of those. Didn't do anything here. This was fine. I knocked down a little lip that was sticking up here. That's about it, man. I'm not going to wire wheel on this anymore. I'm going to strip it down, wipe it down real good with acetone. It's raining here today, so I won't be doing any painting. I'll probably end up painting this, even though it was bare metal, because it is on the inside. You know, it's probably going to be covered in grease. It'll probably be okay because it didn't have paint on it originally. We'll see. Anyway, there's your update. Stay tuned for more to come. Welcome back to Ray's Garage. I'm Ray Cornelia, and this is part 3 of the Wilton Vise Restoration. I hope you enjoyed part 2, and I think you did, because I've got a huge response, recommendations, color choices, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks, guys, man. It was awesome. It's been a fun build. At the point now where I'm ready for paint. I was able to find a swivel base for it. It fits up pretty decent. It's not the factory original one for this vise, but it is pretty close. And I'll show you some details of it once we do final assembly. There is one addition I did make since the last video, which let me bring you in tight so I can explain this. Okay, as you might remember in part 1, the disassembly, I used an Allen wrench to come in the back side here to knock out the factory pins. The factory pins look like this, with an knurled shoulder. That's the knurled shoulder right there. And they press back in this way. Well, I did not want to have to deal with pressing these pins back out for maintenance. So what I did is I took a 1/4 20 set screw and I machined down, basically created a shoulder right here and left about 4 or 5 threads here. So now I have a 1/4 20 set screw in here with a 3/16 shoulder locking in the tail piece and the nut. I did that on both sides. So basically, I don't have any video of this because I just kind of tore into it. Drilled it with a number 7 drill bit and then tapped it with a 1/4 20 gun tap. And then basically I just put this in a collet and machined it down to 3/16. And basically it's holding it in. Now I can remove this with just a Allen wrench, and voila, I have full access to the rear. Okay, this thing is all prepped for paint. One more wipe down with acetone. Make sure I get all the nooks and crannies. And then we're gonna do an etching primer, and then a darker colored primer, and then the final coat. The reason is the etching primer is like a light gray, greenish color, but I want a nice dark base. So I'm going to go with just a coat of the black to give it a deep base underneath the final color. During final assembly, after this all dries, I'm going to probably let it dry for a day or two. But there's a few people I would like to give a big shout out to and thank you that helped me along this build, kept me on track and in the right direction. So I'm going to talk about those people in final assembly and some of the things I picked up from them and how it involved in the building of this Wilton Bullet. So anyway, let's get set up for paint, and nice warm sunny day today, so we should have fairly decent results. Anyway, let's move forward, man. Okay, nice warm still day. Self-etching primer. Okay, we'll let that flash off and bring you back. We're going to dust it with some flat black primer, just to darken it up a bit, that's all. Okay, that one's a 30-minute wait. After a very tough decision, I was going to go with the blue. This is the same color as my Kurt milling machine vise. And I was going to go with this color up until this morning, but I'm going to go with the hammered Verde green. If I don't like it, I guess I could always put the blue over top. So let's go with the green. Okay, we'll let that flash off and give her another coat. Okay, we're going handheld here, guys. The final coat was applied approximately 30 minutes ago, and it is nice and sunny and warm out here. This paint is baking very nicely. So I'll take you for a walk around here. I'll try not to make you seasick, because I know that's a big complaint about going handheld. Yeah, and sorry for the mess back here. We're going to be starting some construction here soon. You know, I gotta be honest, this hammered Verde green, I'm liking it. I know I was leaning towards blue, but this is a pretty nice color. It's pretty neat. I gotta be honest, this Wilton Vise build was a really fun project. I gotta put the word out there. I'm looking for a nice 4-incher now. I want to do one more for the shop, and then I'm good on vices, but this could be a very addictive hobby slash habit. It's fun. These things are really neat. They're nostalgic and they're cool. Pull some of this tape off before the paint gets too hard. Let's put this bad boy back together, man. Okay, the tail cap I got from Brian. All the people that I mentioned in the video, I'll give you all their contact information in the end in case you guys need to get parts for yourself. Brian has these made up. They're actually thicker than the factory original Wilton ones, and they're significantly less money than the original Wilton ones. So let's go ahead and get this guy put on. Okay, now I'm sure everyone knows, but to remove it, you just come through here with a wooden dowel and knock it out the back. You know, before I put the horseshoe washer on here, I want to show you. I got this from Kevin Scott, the Wilton Vise parts guy. He makes his own out of a good quality steel. I forget what it is, but then he Rockwell hardens them to like 54. He also countersinks. Here's the factory original one, stamped from a washer, I believe. And there's the original screws from Wilton. And Kevin supplies a little socket cap flush mount. Kevin Scott also supplied me with cap head screws for the jaws, and here's the Wilton factory ones, what they look like, and we'll be putting those in with some anti-seize. Okay, let me reposition. Okay, I found a base through Brian. He knew a guy that had a base, which I got it. The base came with everything, all the hardware, all the T-handles, everything except for, you know, of course, to mount it to a workbench. So I didn't like the look of the T-handle, to be honest. So I had these chrome acorn nuts, and that's what we're going to be using. I don't have the chrome washers, but I'll use these for now just to get the build together. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I have one final touch. I got a set of rubbers for the handle, a set of rubbers for the handle here, and we'll put those on next. So the final touch has been quite the challenge. Let me show you here. The final touch were the handle bumpers. These rubber bumpers for the handle. The challenge has been, I cannot find the correct size bumpers. 2 or 3 different resources and no success. And I'll bring you in tight here and show you what the issue is. You can probably already see it. I have a 1/2 inch diameter handle here, and as you can see, the bumpers I'm receiving are nowhere near the correct size. This one has a 5/8 hole, so it could easily slip right off the end of this. So let me cut and show you the other ones I've received. So it's been a couple weeks since the final assembly, and in the meantime, I received 3 different sets of bumpers. This set here, this actually fits a 5/8 handle. And then I went to JPW Industries, and off their recommendation of the part number, which is supposed to be a 1/2 inch ID, they sent me these. And these are for a 3/4 inch handle. And then JPW Industries tried to correct their mistake and sent me these, which are still a 5/8 inside, but they're a little smaller OD. So as you can see, they don't fit. And I'd like to wrap up this whole video series on the Wilton Vise build. So here it is, guys, complete, except for the correct handle bumpers. What I'll do is let me cut, I'll bring you in, because I want to talk about the people involved and help me get this together. I would like to take a minute and mention all the people involved in getting this vise to me and the completion of it. I really do appreciate everyone's effort and help on this. As a lot of you already know, Chuck Bommarino found this vise for me, purchased it, and our mutual friend Gary delivered it from the Bay Area to my shop. So thank you, Chuck, and thank you, Gary. I really do appreciate it. Next, the end cap came from my buddy Brian. I will post his name and his email contact information in the information below. Brian also provided me with a set of these guys to try to help me out, thinking it would fit the handle, and I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you. I will be using these on my next build, which I'll talk about here in a second. The swivel base came from Nick, and I will post Nick's information in the information below. As I mentioned before in the video, I did not use the T-handles. I chose to use chrome acorn nuts and chrome washers, and it cinched down pretty well. I probably won't be swiveling it that much, but if I do, it'll still function. The horseshoe washer came from Kevin Scott, the Wilton Vise parts guy, and these are recessed hex cap screws. Kevin also provided the hex cap screws for the jaws, and what I'll do is I'll open it up and give you a shot of that too. Okay, here's a shot of the rear jaw with the hex cap screws, and Kevin does use a grade 8 1/4 cap screw, very good quality. Okay, here's a shot of the front jaw, same set of cap screws. Okay, some of the products I use, the paint, Rust-Oleum Hammered Verde Green. I used an etching primer underneath of it and dusted it with a coat of flat black primer. Put it together with some extreme pressure, premium red. That went on the lead screw, the slide, the handle. It's all packed in there. Makes it feel like glass, man. It's smooth as glass. And all the fasteners were installed using anti-seize, so that way they will never become seized. Anyway, as I mentioned before, this was a fun build, and the reason I'm hanging on to this set of bumpers is I am interested in picking up a 4-inch Wilton Bullet, rebuilding that and having one more vise for the shop. It was a fun build. I had a good time doing it. It turned out perfect, but I will be using it. It's only going to look this good once. That's it. It's getting used. And Tom Lipton, no, I'm not making a dust cover for it, but it is a really good idea. Thanks for the suggestion. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the series. Until next time, get out in your shop and build something cool. See ya!